The house smelled the same as it did years ago. Dusty wood, faint traces of old books, and something familiar he couldn't place. Alex stood in the doorway, keys still in his hand, staring at the living room he had avoided for so long. He hadn't been back since his father's funeral 2 weeks ago. Not properly, just long enough to gather documents with the lawyer. But now he was here alone, and the silence felt heavier than ever. Alex dropped the keys on the small table by the door. The sound echoed through the empty house. He swallowed hard and looked around. Everything was exactly as it had been, like time had stopped. Family photos lined the shelves, most of them from years ago. Happier times, before everything between him and his father fell apart. Alex avoided looking at them too closely. The guilt was already crawling up his throat. He had ignored his father for years, and now it was too late to fix anything. He made his way down the narrow hallway. Every step creaked, each sound a reminder of the childhood he had left behind, and the man he had shut out. His old room was at the end of the hall. The door was closed. Alex hesitated before turning the handle. The smell of dust hit him immediately as the door opened. It was like stepping into a time capsule. The same faded posters on the walls. The same desk by the window cluttered with old notebooks. Even the bedspread was the same. Alex stood there for a long moment, frozen. He felt like a stranger in his own memories. His father hadn't touched a thing, not even after Alex stopped coming home. He walked over to the desk. His fingers brushed across the dust-covered surface. He noticed a small locked drawer on the side, one he didn't remember using much as a kid. Alex knelt down and pulled at it. It wouldn't budge. He checked the top drawers for a key but found nothing. Frustrated, he stood up and looked around the room. Why would his father lock anything in here? He glanced at the closet. It was packed with boxes and old clothes. Alex began digging through the closet shelves. Piles of old toys and textbooks toppled over. And then, tucked inside a small metal tin, he found a tiny key. He held it in his hand, staring at it. It had to be for the drawer. Alex walked back to the desk and knelt down again. The key fit perfectly. The drawer clicked open. Inside was a single worn envelope. His name written on the front in his father's familiar handwriting. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He stared at the envelope for what felt like forever. Hands shaking, he opened it. The letter inside was dated 6 months ago, before his father got sick. Alex unfolded it slowly. Dear Alex, I know you don't want to hear from me. And I know I deserve that silence. But I need you to know the truth before it's too late. Alex felt his chest tighten. He read the words over and over. His father's voice echoing in his mind. I made mistakes when you were younger. Mistakes I can never take back. But there are things you don't know. Things I couldn't bring myself to say out loud. Alex's hands trembled as he read. The words blurred with tears he refused to let fall. Please go to the attic. There's a box there with your name on it. It will explain everything. Alex dropped the letter onto the desk, stunned. The attic? What could possibly be up there? He stood up, heart racing. He hadn't been in the attic in years. He wasn't even sure if the stairs still worked. But his father's words wouldn't let him walk away. He left the room and headed toward the narrow pull-down ladder in the hallway ceiling. His hand trembled as he reached up and tugged at the cord. The ladder unfolded with a loud creak. The smell of dust and old wood rushed down from above. Alex climbed slowly, every step echoing in the empty house. He reached the top and flicked on the single light bulb. The attic was cluttered with boxes. Some collapsed, some covered in sheets. He scanned the room quickly. There was a cardboard box with his name written on it in thick black marker. Alex walked over and knelt down beside it. He touched the top gently. What could be inside? He lifted the lid carefully. Inside was something he never expected to see. And it would change everything he thought he knew about his father. Alex stared at the contents of the box in disbelief. It wasn't filled with random items or junk from the past. It was neatly organized. Stacks of letters tied together with string. Old photographs tucked into small envelopes. And at the very top, a worn leather journal. Alex picked up the journal carefully. His father's name, Richard, was etched faintly on the cover. The leather felt soft from years of handling. Alex hesitated before opening it. The first page was dated nearly 25 years ago, before Alex was even born. "I never thought I would raise a child alone," the entry began. "But I will do whatever it takes to protect him when the time comes." Alex frowned. Protect him from what? He turned the pages slowly. There were more entries, each one written in his father's firm but tired handwriting. Alex is 5 now. He's asking more questions about his mother. I don't know what to tell him. I can't tell him the truth yet. Not until he's ready. Alex's breath caught in his throat. The truth about his mother. He had always believed she had left when he was a baby. That's what his father had told him. He flipped through the journal faster now. Each page revealed bits and pieces of a story Alex didn't fully understand. Mentions of his mother. Strange phone calls. Notes about money disappearing. And then a final entry dated just a few months ago. If Alex ever finds this, I need him to know I did everything to keep him safe. He deserves the truth now. Even if it changes how he sees me forever. Alex closed the journal slowly. His hands were trembling. His father had been hiding something all these years. He looked back at the box. There was a sealed manila envelope underneath the letters. His name was written on the front. Alex tore it open carefully. Inside were several documents, birth certificates, bank statements, and one that made his heart stop. Police report dated 23 years ago. Alex read the words carefully, his eyes widening. Suspect, Angela Carter. Relationship to child. Biological mother. Charges. Abandonment, theft, and endangerment. Alex dropped the paper onto the dusty floor. He stared at it, his mind spinning. His mother hadn't just left. She had been arrested. But why had his father never told him? He reached back into the box and pulled out the bundle of letters. Each envelope was addressed to him. Some had never been opened. The return address was the same on every one. Angela Carter. Alex untied the bundle with shaking fingers. He opened the first letter. Dear Alex, I know you probably hate me. But I need you to know I didn't want to leave you. I was young and scared and I made mistakes. But I loved you more than anything. Alex felt tears burning at the corners of his eyes. He read the next letter. Your father won't let me see you. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm not good for you. But I think about you every single day. Letter after letter said the same thing. A mother reaching out to the son she couldn't reach. Alex dropped the letters onto the floor. He stood up quickly, his breath uneven. Everything he thought he knew about his parents was crumbling. Had his father been protecting him? Or had he kept his mother away out of anger? Alex's head spun as he looked around the dusty attic. He needed answers. And there was only one place left to look. He remembered the lawyer's card still sitting on the kitchen table. Richard's old lawyer, David Harris, had handled everything after the funeral. Maybe he knew the truth. Alex climbed down from the attic slowly, clutching the journal and letters in his hands. The house felt even emptier now. Every creak of the floorboards reminded him that Richard was gone. Gone with secrets Alex might never fully uncover. He sat at the kitchen table, staring at David Harris's number on the card. His hand hovered over his phone for a long moment. Then he dialed. David Harris speaking, the voice answered. This is Alex. Richard Carter's son, Alex said, his voice shaking. I need to know the truth about my parents. About everything my father never told me. There was a long silence on the other end. Then David spoke carefully. Alex, there's a reason your father didn't tell you certain things. Are you sure you're ready to hear it? Alex gripped the phone tighter. Yes, I need to know. David sighed deeply. Come to my office tomorrow morning. Bring everything you found. And Alex, be prepared. The truth isn't what you think it is. The call ended. Alex set the phone down slowly. He looked at the journal, the letters, the police report. All of it felt heavy in his hands. What could be so terrible that his father had carried it in silence for years? As Alex sat alone in the quiet house, he felt the weight of a choice pressing on him. Should he open every letter and piece together the story on his own? Or wait until tomorrow and risk hearing something that might break him completely? Alex didn't sleep that night. He lay awake on the old bed, the letters spread out across the blanket. The words from his mother haunted him. I didn't want to leave you. I think about you every single day. He stared at the ceiling, his chest tight. Every memory he had of his father felt different now. Had Richard really been protecting him? Or had he been punishing Angela all these years by keeping Alex away? When the morning light finally broke through the dusty curtains, Alex was already dressed. He gathered the journal, the letters, and the police report into a worn backpack. The house was silent as he left, locking the door behind him. David Harris's office was a 20-minute drive downtown. Alex gripped the steering wheel tightly, every streetlight feeling like it took hours to change. When he finally arrived, he sat in the car for several minutes, trying to steady his breathing. The law office was quiet, lined with framed degrees and old photographs. David Harris, a man in his late 50s with kind eyes and silver hair, greeted Alex at the door. Come in, David said softly. Alex followed him into a small office and sat down across from his desk. David gestured to the backpack Alex was clutching. You brought what you found. Alex nodded and set it down on the desk. I found letters from my mother. And my father's journal. He never told me any of this. David sighed, leaning back in his chair. Richard carried a lot of pain, Alex. He didn't always know how to handle it. But he loved you more than anything. Alex's voice trembled. Then why didn't he let me see her? Why didn't he tell me she was writing to me all these years? David hesitated for a long moment. There's something you need to know about Angela. About the years before you were born. Alex's hands gripped the edge of the chair. David spoke carefully, choosing each word. Angela wasn't just a troubled young mother. She was involved with people who were dangerous. Criminal networks. People who would have hurt you if they knew where you were. Alex shook his head in disbelief. She wrote in those letters that she loved me. That she wanted to see me. I believe she did, David said gently. But Richard knew the people she was connected to. And he was terrified they would use you to get to her. Or worse. Alex felt the blood drain from his face. Is that why he told me she left? To make me hate her so I wouldn't go looking for her? David nodded slowly. Yes. He made the choice to bear that anger himself, because he thought it would keep you safe. Alex buried his face in his hands. All those years of bitterness. All the nights he cursed his father for being cold and distant. And now he understood why. He could have told me, Alex whispered. He could have trusted me with the truth. Maybe, David said softly. But Richard wasn't a perfect man. He was scared. And when people are scared, they make choices they think will protect the ones they love, even if it hurts. Alex looked up, his eyes red. Where is she now? My mother. Do you know? David hesitated. I haven't spoken to her in over a decade. But I heard she was released from prison a few years ago. She might still be living in the next state. Alex's heart pounded. You think she'd want to see me? I don't know, David admitted. But if you want, I can help you find her. Alex gripped the journal in his lap. He thought about the little boy he had been. waiting at the window for a mother who never came. He thought about Richard, silently carrying the blame so Alex wouldn't go looking for danger. Part of him was furious, part of him was grateful, and part of him felt lost. "I need time," Alex said finally. "I don't even know what I'd say if I saw her." David nodded. "That's understandable. Just know you don't have to do this alone." Alex stood slowly, his legs heavy. "Thank you," he said quietly. As he left the office, the cool morning air hit his face. He sat in his car, clutching the steering wheel, unsure of where to go next. The house felt like the last place he wanted to be. But he couldn't drive aimlessly forever. When he returned, the house was exactly as he had left it. Still, Alex dropped the backpack on the table and sat down in his father's old chair. He stared at the journal, flipping to one of the last entries again. "If Alex ever finds this, I hope he can forgive me. I hope one day he'll understand that everything I did was for him." Alex closed the journal, tears slipping down his cheeks. He whispered into the empty house, "I'm sorry, Dad. I should have come home sooner." He wiped his face roughly and stood. The attic stairs still hung open, a reminder of everything he had uncovered. But something inside him pushed him to look one more time. Alex climbed the ladder slowly, the old wood groaning under his weight. He searched the attic again, moving boxes aside, checking every corner. There had to be something else. Something his father left behind. He found a small metal lockbox hidden behind a stack of dusty crates. He pulled it out carefully. There was no key. But Alex pried it open with a screwdriver he found in the corner. Inside was a single object. A photograph. Alex lifted it slowly. It was a picture of Richard, much younger, holding baby Alex in his arms. And standing next to him was Angela. She was smiling, holding Alex's tiny hand in hers. They looked happy, like a family. Alex stared at the photo for a long time. Then he noticed something else tucked behind it. A folded piece of paper. A note written in Richard's handwriting. "If you're reading this, Alex, it means I'm gone. Your mother deserves a second chance if you choose to give it. Don't let my mistakes keep you from finding her. Or from living a life free from anger." Alex's hands trembled as he read the words. Richard had known all along that this moment would come. He had left Alex a choice. Alex sat back on the dusty floor, the photograph and letter in his hands. He could stay here, holding on to the pain and the secrets of the past. Or he could find Angela and finally face the truth of who she was. But what if she didn't want to see him? What if she had moved on with her life? Or worse, what if she was still connected to the people who had once put him in danger? Alex closed his eyes, his mind spinning. He had no idea what he would find if he searched for her. But for the first time in years, he felt a spark of something that had been missing. Oh. Alex woke up the next morning with a decision made. He couldn't stay in that house forever, surrounded by unanswered questions. He had to find Angela, even if the truth broke him all over again. He packed a small bag with clothes and the letters. The photograph of his parents together stayed tucked safely in his wallet. He grabbed Richard's journal too. Every word inside it felt like a map, guiding him toward the closure he needed. Alex called David Harris on his way out. "Can you help me track her down?" he asked quickly. David hesitated. "I can. But Alex, be prepared for the possibility that she might not want to be found." "I have to try," Alex said firmly. "I can't live the rest of my life wondering." David sighed quietly. "She was last seen in a small town 3 hours from here. She worked at a diner for a while, then moved into a small apartment complex near the edge of town. I'll text you the address I have." Alex thanked him and hung up. He tightened his grip on the steering wheel as he drove down the highway. Each passing mile felt heavier. What would he even say to her? Would she recognize him? The letters were sitting in the passenger seat. Alex glanced at them every now and then. The words Angela had written played in his head. I didn't want to leave you. Your father won't let me see you. I think about you every single day. His chest tightened with a mix of anger and sadness. Had Richard done the right thing? Had Angela changed? Or would this just reopen wounds that had barely begun to heal? By the time he reached the small town, the sun was already dipping low in the sky. He found the apartment complex David had mentioned. It was older, with peeling paint and a flickering streetlight by the entrance. Alex parked the car and sat there for a long moment. His hands were shaking. What if she didn't want to see him? What if she had a new life, a family, and he was just a reminder of the past she wanted to forget? But Richard's note echoed in his mind. Your mother deserves a second chance if you choose to give it. Alex stepped out of the car and walked slowly to the building. He found her name on the mailboxes near the entrance. Angela Carter. Apartment 3B. His breath hitched as he climbed the stairs. Every step felt like a lifetime. Finally, he was standing at her door. He raised his hand to knock, but his knuckles hovered in the air, frozen. Alex's heart pounded. What if she slammed the door in his face? What if she didn't even open it? He closed his eyes, took a shaky breath, and knocked 3 times. There was no answer. Alex waited. The hallway was silent. He knocked again, louder this time. He heard footsteps on the other side. The door creaked open slowly. And there she was. Angela Carter stood in the doorway. Older than in the photograph, but unmistakably her. Her hair was streaked with gray now, pulled back in a loose bun. Her eyes widened as she saw him. She stepped back slightly, her hand gripping the doorframe. Alex, she whispered, her voice trembling. Alex couldn't speak. He just nodded. Angela covered her mouth with one hand, tears welling in her eyes. She reached out as if to touch him, but stopped halfway. You're here. Alex swallowed hard. I found your letters. Angela's tears spilled over instantly. I wrote so many. I didn't think you'd ever see them. Alex's voice was raw. Why didn't you come find me? Angela shook her head, her voice breaking. I tried, Alex. I swear I tried. But your father wouldn't let me near you. And I wasn't the person you needed me to be back then. Alex stepped inside slowly. Angela closed the door behind him, her hands still shaking. The apartment was small, sparsely furnished, but neat. Angela gestured to the couch. Please, sit. Alex sat, clutching the photograph in his hands. Angela sat across from him, her eyes never leaving his face. You look just like him, she said softly. Like Richard. Alex felt his throat tighten. I don't know what to think, he admitted. He told me you left. He made me believe you didn't want me. Angela's voice cracked. I always wanted you. I was young and reckless, and I got mixed up with people who were dangerous. Your father was trying to keep you safe. And I hated him for it, but now I understand why he did it. Alex stared at her, his emotions warring inside him. Why didn't you change sooner? Why didn't you fight harder for me? Angela wiped at her tears. I was broken, Alex. I didn't think I deserved to be your mother. But I wrote those letters because I needed you to know that I never stopped loving you. Alex felt tears sting his eyes. He pulled the photograph from his wallet and held it out to her. Do you remember this? Angela's breath caught as she took it in her trembling hands. She nodded slowly, tears falling freely now. That was the happiest day of my life. Alex's voice was barely a whisper. I don't know how to feel. Part of me is so angry. But part of me. Angela reached across the small table and took his hand gently. You don't have to decide how to feel right now. I'm just grateful you're here. Alex let her hold his hand. Felt strange and familiar at the same time. The years between them felt heavy. But in that moment, he realized he had been carrying that weight alone for too long. Angela squeezed his hand softly. "Can we start over?" she asked quietly. "I don't deserve it. But I'll spend the rest of my life trying to earn it if you let me." Alex looked into her eyes. He could see the same pain he felt mirrored there. And for the first time in years, he let himself breathe. "I don't know if I can forgive you completely yet," he said honestly. "But maybe we can try." Angela nodded quickly, tears falling harder now. "That's all I want. Just a chance to try." They sat in silence, holding hands, the weight of the past still between them but no longer crushing them completely. For the first time in a long time, Alex felt like the door to his life had opened just a little. And maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as alone as he thought. But Alex couldn't ignore one question that lingered in his mind. The people Angela had once been connected to, were they really gone from her life? Or was the past about to find its way back to both of them in a way they couldn't control? The next few days were cautious but warm. Alex stayed in a small motel nearby, visiting Angela each day. They spent hours talking, filling in the missing years of each other's lives. But the shadows of the past were never far from either of their minds. Angela told him about the mistakes she had made when she was young, the people she had been involved with, how she had tried to break free but had been pulled deeper until the arrest had finally ended it. Alex listened quietly. Some of it was hard to hear, but he knew he needed to hear it all. On the fourth day, Alex walked to Angela's apartment with 2 coffees in hand. The sun was bright but the air was cold. He knocked on the door and waited. Angela opened it quickly, a smile on her face that faded when she saw his expression. "You look worried," she said softly. Alex stepped inside. "I'm not sure why, but I feel like something's off." Angela frowned. "Off how?" Alex hesitated. He couldn't explain it. But the last few days had felt almost too quiet, like they were waiting for something to go wrong. Angela tried to reassure him. "It's just old fears, Alex. I left that life behind a long time ago." But she stopped suddenly when a sharp knock echoed at the door. Both of them froze. Angela whispered, "Did you tell anyone where I live?" Alex shook his head quickly. "No." The knock came again, louder this time. Angela's hands trembled as she opened the door a crack. A man stood there, broad-shouldered, his eyes cold. Angela's breath caught in her throat. "I told you I was out," she said quietly. The man smirked. "You never really get out, Angela." Alex stepped forward. "Who are you?" The man ignored him and pushed the door wider. "You owe us. And it's time to pay up." Angela's voice shook. "I don't have anything. I left that life behind years ago." The man leaned closer. "Then maybe we take something else from you." Alex stepped between them. "You're not taking anything," he said firmly. The man glared at him. "And you must be the son. I've heard about you." Angela pulled Alex back, whispering, "Don't. He's dangerous." The man stepped inside slowly, his presence filling the small apartment. "You have 1 week, Angela. If you can't pay, we'll come back. And next time we won't be so polite." He turned and left without another word, the door slamming behind him. Angela sank into the chair, her face pale. "I thought this was over," she whispered. "I thought I was free." Alex knelt in front of her, his hands gripping hers. "We'll figure this out together." Angela shook her head. "You don't understand, Alex. These people don't just go away. I kept you away from me all those years because I didn't want you to ever be part of this." Alex's voice was steady. "I'm already part of it now. And I'm not walking away." Angela looked at him through tears. "You sound just like your father." Alex felt something shift in his chest. For the first time he understood Richard in a way he never had before. The choices he had made. The fear he had carried alone. "We'll go to David," Alex said firmly. "He can help us figure out what to do. I'm not letting them take anything from you. Not again." Angela nodded slowly, wiping her tears. Okay. They met with David Harris the next morning. He listened carefully as they explained everything. This isn't uncommon, David said quietly. These people prey on fear. They'll push as far as you let them. Alex's jaw tightened. So we fight back. David nodded. I'll contact the authorities and make sure you're both protected. But Alex, Angela, you need to be ready for a long process. It won't be easy. Angela reached for Alex's hand under the table. For the first time, she felt like she wasn't facing it alone. That night, they sat together in Angela's small living room. There was still fear in the air. But there was also something else. Connection. Angela looked at Alex and whispered, I'm sorry for everything, Alex. I know I wasn't the mother you needed. But I want to be now if you'll let me. Alex squeezed her hand gently. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. But I want to try. Angela smiled through her tears. That's all I could ever ask for. They sat there for a long time in the quiet apartment. The past still heavy, the future uncertain. But for the first time, Alex felt like they had a chance. As he left later that night, Angela walked him to the door. She hugged him tightly before letting go. You're stronger than you know, Alex. And your father would be so proud of you. Alex felt a lump in his throat. He nodded slowly. I hope so. Weeks later, the case was in motion. The man who had threatened Angela was arrested along with others from his network. Angela finally felt free of the chains that had followed her for decades. Alex moved closer to her apartment, determined not to lose the connection they had rebuilt. It wasn't perfect. Some days were hard, and the pain of the past still surfaced. But there was trust now, and hope. One evening, Alex visited Angela with dinner. As they ate together, Angela looked at him with tears in her eyes. Thank you for giving me another chance. I know I didn't deserve it. Alex shook his head. You did. Because everyone deserves a second chance if they're willing to fight for it. Angela smiled softly. And for the first time, Alex felt like their family had a future again. He thought about Richard often. About the sacrifices his father had made. And he whispered quietly in his heart, I understand now, Dad. And I forgive you. But what about you? If someone from your past had hurt you or kept painful secrets from you for years, would you give them a second chance when they came back? Or would you close the door forever to protect yourself? Tell us in the comments. Your story could change someone else's life who's reading today. And if this story touched you, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful real-life inspired stories. Your support keeps us telling stories that matter.